Afternoon, everybody. Wow, look at this. Amazing, isn't it? So many people still here after 4 o'clock on a Saturday afternoon. It's the latest any Labour people have been in the Ministry of Sound on a Saturday for certain. I'm just glad to get past the door police. Thank you, Neil and Francis and Compass. But clearly this is the right event at the right time, and the energy that Miata described has been clear. So well done, everyone who's been involved in making it happen. I knew it was going to be difficult when Neil offered me the rally the troops reasons to be cheerful slot at the end of the day. Why would you give that slot to an Evertonian from Manchester? Believe me, I can do heaven knows I'm miserable now as good as anybody in this room. But as Miata just said, I am optimistic. Maybe for a different reason. Here's why I'm optimistic. Partly because of the energy of today, but also because of the nature of the threat we now face. It means the left will now have to make changes, which, in my view, in truth, we should have made many years ago. That gives me hope that something new is going to break through. It's because the moment we are now in requires a move away from the factionalism that has bedeviled us on all sides of the party and across the left. It will require a change in our language to make it more relational and connect much more with people. The stories that the lady from the front row talked about, absolutely agree. And I think it should point us towards a substantially new offer for the public. And Miata was beginning to describe the elements of that. If the next election is going to be a binary choice between two worldviews, and the opposition is going to be the divisive populist right, then we must be the unifying popular left. I feel today has shown that we can be that. And that's why I do have reasons to be cheerful. I see ministers like Miata in our government with great instincts. And I do see good policies beginning to take shape alongside a necessary debate about some of the difficult issues that have arisen. When you kind of weave together the results of that debate and the spending review that's coming, it's within our grasp to create a new story that redefines who we are, who we stand for, and what we are going to achieve. I am in my 25th year as an elected Labour politician. You're feeling old now, aren't you, on that hot Saturday afternoon? It makes me feel old when I say that. But it does give me quite a lot of perspective on that last quarter of a century on the left. And obviously I'm here to share that and my reflection on it. And I would absolutely say that over that time we have made good changes that have benefited this country. But I would also say that it has been characterised by too much timidity in our offer. There has been too much reluctance to show the courage of our convictions. We've been too quick in the last Labour government as well to use the language of hard choices, and too much negativity unlocked as a result of that. If I then look specifically at my own area of Greater Manchester, and if I think of the 100,000 people today on waiting lists for social housing across our 10 boroughs, and then if I think of the many, many more people in inadequate, insecure, private rented housing across Greater Manchester, and then if I further think of the 2/3 of young people and their families who don't take the traditional university route, I ask myself this: what has been Labour's concrete offer for those people and their families over that last quarter of a century? When did we stop speaking directly to them? somewhere along the line, in my view, we lost the ability to speak to that working class ambition that characterised the post-war Labour government, the one that built the platform for a more stable and successful country in the 50s, 60s and 70s, that ensured those essentials of life that Miata mentioned: good homes, secure jobs, decent healthcare, comprehensive education, affordable transport. They ensured they were there for everyone. And all of that was a platform for people to become more successful, to move forward. But this is where now we can lean right into the moment that we are in. When those essentials were broken up and sold off in the 80s, and the conditions were laid then for Britain's modern malaise now, and the cost of living crisis that people now are struggling to escape, the main cheerleaders of all of that were the people we now face on the new populist right. They are a coalition of the arch-Thatcherites and the Maggie didn't go far enough brigade in Reform UK. This is the framing, therefore, we set for the fight ahead of us. Who will restore those essentials? Who will lift people's lives? And who will speak once again to that working class ambition, those people and those places that have felt neglected in those 25 years, who don't see politicians speaking directly for them and raising their concerns, talking about their kids and their kids' life chances? A trend that once characterised our politics. I think we should waste no time in answering that question and say we will speak for them, and we should start with the spending review in 12 days' time. And even though there's only 12 days to go, I would ask the government, even at this stage, think carefully about what is announced and make sure it speaks to the ambition of all of those people and all of those places that have felt modern politics has ignored them. Make sure it does. And address issues that are the engines of social mobility: housing, technical education, that we as a party have neglected for too long. So in my view, as Miata was saying, the spending review should be used to unlock the biggest and quickest council and social housing building programme this country has ever seen. And I mean even bigger than the post-war Labour government's programme. A new generation of green homes that are cheaper to rent and cheaper to run. A real answer to the cost of living crisis. And within this Parliament, this is doable. I know it's doable in Greater Manchester because I monitor the figures. Within this Parliament, set a new overriding national target on housing, which is to hit a new tipping point in this Parliament when we are building more council and social homes than we are losing, because we're still losing more than we are building. And the grip of the housing crisis is getting tighter all over England. Well, let's loosen it and commit to loosening it and hit that tipping point. And that actually gives the Labour government a real defining purpose that will resonate with people right across the country. And that as well. And that's what I call for, actually. And I'm pleased the government has acted on that, because that is a part of the answer. Rolling back the 1980s. That's what your Labour mayors are doing around the country. We were the first to put buses back under public control. And I want to see that go right across England. I want to see us building council homes again. I want us to have community-owned energy that makes it affordable to people. All of that. And that's what we should lean into. That's the framing I'm talking about. Because the other side believed in none of that. And that's why we then will start to have authenticity in what we're saying. It's what we believe, and it will connect with the public. I do think as well that we should speak directly to those kids and parents who want an alternative to the university route. Because too much in the past, our party has been characterised by a sense that we're only about the university route and we don't have ambitions for the kids who don't go on it. And I believe we need to see a new revolution in technical education. I'm asking the government explicitly to back Greater Manchester's plan for an education system, a comprehensive education system. Some people don't like that phrase, but I do. That's what we should always stand for in this country, a path for everybody. parity between academic and technical education. And that connects with those voters who voted Labour all their lives but now don't think we're speaking for them and the prospects of their families. And thirdly, I think we should build on the historic decision to renationalise rail. This government has done something the other Labour governments before it did not do. We should build on that by committing to affordable public transport under public control all over England. Every single bit of it, right across the whole country. We should restore the cap on bus fares. That was an idea of the Labour mayors. It's a good idea. Why? Because it helps people every day and it promotes growth in our economy because people get out and about. Restore it and introduce one on rail fares. Again, that's a pro-growth policy. And in doing all of this, as Miata was saying, let's write a new story for the north of England where people do still feel that alienation the most, the sense that the country hasn't been fair, as fair to them as it has been to other places, and make a commitment to the same level of infrastructure in the north that we see here in the south. All of this is achievable, and it should be the basis of a programme for the popular left. To those who will say we can't afford it, I say this: building a new generation of council homes would be the single smartest investment that this country could make and would save billions of crisis spending in the benefits system and in other public services. And I also say this: we've overtaxed Labour in this country and we've undertaxed wealth, I think as Lou Haig said earlier today, and we should get that balance right in paying for the changes that we want to see. We must not forget constitutional reform. The rules of the country have been wrong. We've had a country with rules that have created the inequality we see. Don't let people say that's a fringe issue. It's not. Mark Drakeford was right, I think, to call for that change in our electoral system to reflect the times in which we are living, so that we can build those coalitions on the left to bring the change. And I've learned in my time working with a cross-party administration, that is what makes change more durable if you work in that way. And we are proud to say in Greater Manchester that we are place first, not party first. And that's a better politics that connects with the country. And I think it's time for proportional representation to bring a new politics into this country. Let me also ask for your support today, conference, for constitutional change in the legal system. We cannot have the injustices in this country that we've seen over the decades. Most recently, the Post Office, infected blood before it, and of course, Hillsborough. We must have a law that requires our public servants to tell the truth at the first time of asking. That's also a country that should work in the interests of ordinary people. A full Hillsborough law. The government must introduce it. And finally, as Miata said, why should we wonder that we have a crisis in our politics when our councils have been allowed to sink before our eyes, fragment and almost break up into the earth? Why should we be surprised that there's an alienation with politics at a very local level when basic things like roads and public parks can't be maintained? We've got to build our offer from the bottom up. We should restore council funding, and we should use the new devolved structures in England to deliver the radical renewal that this conference today is calling for. And that should be our clarion call. We hope Greater Manchester shows what can be done and what hopefully looks to you like a popular left programme, because that's how we work. I believe you do have to take on the right, but what's the best way to do that? Definitely not by aping their rhetoric. Never. But we do it by doing rather than telling. I make no bones about it and no apology for taking a tough-on-crime approach in Greater Manchester. And I'm proud to tell you all today that neighbourhood crime in Greater Manchester is significantly down, and we have record numbers of police officers. That's the way to do it. Just get on and do it and give the sense of order in communities that everyone has got an entitlement to expect. But from there, from that foundation, you can do something about the causes of crime. You should be restoring youth services, in my view, all over the country. And as we do in Greater Manchester, providing free transport for our teenagers. Why don't we do things like that nationally? We used to have the education maintenance allowance, but it was divisive because it was mean-tested. Why not free transport for all teenagers over England? What I would say to the government is, I have learned, leaving Westminster and then coming at politics from the bottom up, that you can do simple, tangible things that change people's lives every day. They think of that policy every time they get on the bus. And that's a policy that promotes growth. This is what I'm saying. It's not about promising the earth, but it's about delivering what you say you will do. And those should be things that matter to people every single day. When people see those yellow buses go past in Greater Manchester with the B on the side, they know that Labour politics took back control of their buses and has made them more affordable to people. It's those type of policies that we need to be better at promoting. So I'll finish by saying there are reasons, are there not, to be cheerful, to be hopeful, to kind of build on what we've learned and what we've gone through in the last year, to look ahead, exactly as Miata was saying. We see from Canada and Australia that a strong, confident left, which leans into what we believe, rather than tilting the other way, can win, and can win well. We also have a Labour government doing good things, and with 4 years to go, and with a bit of extra encouragement, can do great things for this country. And more importantly, in dark and divided times, we should be cheerful about the fact, and we should have confidence in the fact, that there is still in this country a clear majority of decent people out there looking for the light, looking for a lift, looking for more unity across society, waiting for a stronger, clearer offer, inspiring offer from mainstream politics. Well, I say this, let's make sure they wait no longer. Thanks very much for listening, everyone.